Sonic Mania has me excited for Sonic for the first time since Shadow the Hedgehog, which isn't actually that bad of a game. Why does it get the same rating as Sonic 06, a legitimately broken and unfinished game? Shadow's good, I swear. Anyway, when it comes to the classic games, I tend to prefer classic Sonic over classic Mario, but today, heavens no. But maybe now it will be different. So Sonic Mania got me thinking about Sonic characters again, and I realized that it sure is weird that Knuckles and Tails can fly. Or, well, I guess in Knuckles' case...
Knuckles!
You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
But here's the problem. See, this is an echidna. Does anything about the echidna scream, "Hey, I can glide like a flying squirrel," or a sugar glider, yeah? But thankfully, Sonic Boom does make this video short because Sonic Boom gives us the answer. Knuckles just pauses the game and then jumps again, and then pauses the game and then jumps again, and then pauses the game and then jumps again, and then pauses... No, that's silly. So what is the real mystery here? There must be some sort of explanation for this, and that is what we are going to talk about today. So first, the common answer. One quick Google search and we find that on the Sonic Wiki it claims that he traps air under his dreads, which echidnas don't have, and he uses that air to glide. Which, I mean, would that actually be possible? How could something glide with no actual wings? Gliding is achieved when you have elongated, unpowered flight, meaning no engine or propulsion to give you more lift. I know there are quite a few things that somewhat glide without wings in the animal kingdom. There are even some gliding snakes and spiders, both small and light, but they can still glide a bit nonetheless. But none of these compare to the ability of Knuckles, the gliding king. So let's figure this out, starting by figuring out what Knuckles actually is. Knuckles the Echidna is an echidna, if you couldn't tell. This adorable little snoot is this red punchy flying thing. See the similarities? This egg-laying mammal, or monotremata, is a native species to Australia. Echidnas are known for their ability to dig, which Knuckles is also excellent at. They are also apparently quite good swimmers, being able to swim well even during flood conditions. Some even regularly bathe, but surprisingly, they are completely unable to fly. What does get really interesting, though, is that the echidna has recently been linked via its ancestors to the crocodile, due to a very similar pelvic bone. That means that Knuckles and Vector could be distant cousins. So, then what even is Knuckles? He's got dreads, the Jamaican flag colors on his shoes, he talks like an American but comes from Australia and has Mayan ancestors. What? Well, fine, enough of the confusing nature stuff. Let's analyze Knuckles' abilities. Knuckles is stated to be one of the strongest characters in the Sonic franchise and has many feats to back that claim up. I mean, he punches Eggman's machines into smithereens and destroys rock walls. He even managed to punch the emeralds right out of Supersonic, the supposedly invincible hedgehog. So maybe it's not exactly gliding. Maybe he's using his strength to jump really good. Instead of gliding, maybe he's just jumping off of a wall really well. But that doesn't really explain how he can start gliding forward after jumping in one place, or how he can change direction. And also, look at those legs. Skip leg day much, you old knucklehead? I don't think he would be able to jump high without breaking his legs. Maybe he's like a sugar glider. One of the cutest little guys ever. These small mammals use the excess skin on their flanks to glide. While the air is rushing by, the skin goes all taut and fills with air, almost creating a scoop that widens the animal's surface area. This greatly increases drag and decreases its descent speed, letting it reach the branches on adjacent trees before it lands on the dangerous floor. It is possible that echidnas are related to flying squirrels, at least. Well, we can see that the flying squirrel X-ray has quite a lot of excess skin around the body, while the echidna does have some, but it's only a little bit, even if we include the quills or the dreads in Knuckles' case. Neither of which are solid, by the way. They wouldn't be able to form this scoop. So let's say he does somehow trap air under his dreads, perhaps magically. Would that even make it possible to glide? If we remove his body and just look at his head with the dreads, we see that it has a pointed nose to a tapered end, much like an airfoil. He has 7 large dreads that slowly get shorter the closer to the center we get. It's like this. He looks similar to a B-2 stealth bomber, which just so happened to have been revealed to the public around the same time the first and second Sonic games were being developed. They were seen as, well, super cool and awesome, and we all know that Sonic's main point and marketing revolves around him and his friends being super cool and edgy, especially to Americans, so perhaps some inspiration was taken from this. In Knuckles and Team Chaotix, his sprites were much smoother and rounded, creating a streamlined airfoil. At first, I didn't believe that this idea of Knuckles gliding with his hair could even be feasible, but if we look, we can see that the dreads are rather close and seem to be almost touching, creating an almost solid wing surface, similar to the B2. I'm not saying that a creature could fly with just this, but it may have some basic design merit. To glide, the lift generated by his wings or wing equivalents must be almost or above the gravitational pull on his body. Due to what we know of Mobius, it may very well be possible that he can glide due to a lower gravity. We see in Sonic CD that Eggman had to chain a huge planet-like structure to the planet. Now, shouldn't that death egg just fall, not float away? What if there is an intense force that pushes upwards, like a strong magnetic field or possibly a magic energy field? There are also a large amount of characters and things that seem to be able to fly that should not, like any of Eggman's ships, or Cream, or Tails, or anyone really. The only few people that probably should be able to fly is Rouge the Bat and those little birds, like Flicky. But even then, their wings are all way too small to give them the proper amount of lift, at least with Earth's gravity. But Knuckles is the most confusing one of all. He just jumps with a bit of air under his hair? Even with less gravity, the science just isn't there. So maybe it's not wholly scientific. Maybe there is a more magical explanation to go along with this. Knuckles is the sole guardian of the Master Emerald, a jewel that is said to contain chaos itself and is immensely powerful. The Master Emerald's main ability is to cancel or nullify the power of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Knuckles is the last remaining guardian of the Grand Jewel, and it is this Grand Jewel, this Master Emerald's power, that allows Angel Island to float up in the clouds. We have seen multiple times when Eggman steals or breaks the Master Emerald, the island falls into the ocean below. Only when it is returned does the island begin to float again. And we do know that Knuckles has some powers already granted to him by the Emerald, as stated in the lyrics of Knuckles' Pumpkin Hill level in Sonic Adventure 2. He states that the Great Emerald's power allows me to feel.
The Great Emerald's power allows me to feel.
We also know that the only other echidna that could glide, at least of what we've seen, was Tikal. This echidna is daughter to the chief of the Knuckles clan and is one of Knuckles' ancestors. 4,000 years prior to the events of Sonic Adventure, she was trapped inside the Master Emerald, only to be released when it shattered. At the time, long ago, she was also the Master Emerald's guardian, and she is also able to glide. She is also seen using the Emerald's power to teleport and levitate. It seems very possible that she gets this power from the Emerald. So who's to say that Knuckles doesn't also gain this power from the relic, making him extra powerful and able to glide smoothly through the air, despite being an echidna. Well, to me this sounds like it's the most likely case. It is possible that he uses the air caught under his dreads as anti-shock bodies while gliding, or maybe he uses them as a rudder to steer himself, using small bits of power from the Master Emeralds to break an already weak gravitational pull. A combination of physics and magic. Now that's using your noggin. Thank you so much for watching, and here, have some other awesome videos to check out, and if you haven't already, make sure to click the bell below to stay subscribed, and feel free to follow my socials down in the description. And until next time, never stop using your noggin.